Hey everyone, I'm Sugandha and you're watching Ready with HR, and I hope so you all are well and you all are waiting for this session because today we are going to discuss about rounds of interview. So let's have a quick recap of the last sessions. We have done a lot of sessions, 10 modules has been uploaded already, and I think you might have seen those sessions. If you haven't, then yes, please you can check, pin comment, and you can check those sessions. Let's have a quick recap. So this is today, it's session 5, it's module 2, session 5, part 4 and 1, because in the last session we have discussed about the modes of interview. We have done almost 10 sessions, and in that, 2 were from HR course module 1. That was about introduction to HRM and what are the basic elements related to HRM. And then we are doing module 2. This is recruitment and selection. Yes, this is little big module. Is this module contains several sessions because it's recruitment and selection. Okay, so session 5 is going on, and this is interviewing. Here we have discussed about what are interviews, and what are the modes of interviews, different modes of interviews, and each mode we have discussed in detail. And in the last session we have discussed how to conduct job interviews. Now today we are going to discuss rounds of interview, and this will be really interesting. This session will be in two parts because we are going to discuss two rounds in this session and two rounds in the next session, right? So let's get started with it. And first of all, let's get started with what are rounds of interview and why we call them rounds. Now, see, interviews typically consist of several rounds which are each designed to assess different aspects of candidates' qualifications, skills, suitability for the job, as we analyze at every stage. Okay, so the number and type of interview rounds can vary depending on the company, position, and yes, of course, the industry also. But now the question is why we call them rounds of interview. Okay, so why we are using this word rounds of interview? So rounds basically refers to the sequential stages or phases that a candidate goes through during the hiring process. Because it's in sequence, in stages, it's in phases, that's why we are calling it rounds. Okay, so each stage represents a distinct opportunity for the employer to assess different aspects of the candidate's qualifications, skills, and fit for the job in the company. Every round is different, and in each round we are going to analyze, we are going to assess candidates different aspects regarding qualifications, skills, and yes, fit. Okay, so the use of the word, we can say, rounds implies a structured and systematic approach to the interview process. Structured and yes, systematic approach, and each round serves a specific purpose, such as evaluating technical skills and yes, behavioral competencies, discussing employment terms, and yes, since it's stages, it's structured phases, candidates progress from one round to the next based on their performance and suitability for the position. So we can say yes, the concept of round implies that candidates are moving through a series of steps where they are continually being evaluated and potentially advancing to the next level until a final decision is made. So, this structured approach helps employers make well informed decisions by thoroughly assessing candidates from a multiple angles before extending a job offer. So we have discussed what are means, why we call them rounds, okay, why we call rounds of interview, and what all we are assessing in these rounds of interviews. Now, how many rounds are there? This is the basic question everyone asks, and every other person, every other candidate asks about these rounds of interview, that how many rounds are there? So let me answer this. See, the number and type of interview rounds can vary significantly based on the company, the job position, and the industry. Many organizations follow a structured interview process that involves several common rounds, whereas few, or you can say many, organizations process rounds and whatever they want to assess. Okay, so we can say that yes, this vary organization to organization, and we need to check it out with the organization only regarding how many rounds of interviews are there. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about these rounds of interview, and generally there are 4 rounds of interviews. Okay, but yes, each round can have sub rounds, each round can have different parts. Like, first round is a screening round, second round is aptitude round normally, third round is technical round, and fourth round is HR round. Now this technical round can be in different parts. Like, this technical round can further be divided into 3 rounds or 2 rounds or 4 rounds. It can be possible, right? HR round is always a single round, and this aptitude round can be divided into 2 or 3 rounds. Yes, it could be. Now this screening round is also only once. This is basically, you can say, first call which you receive from an interviewer. Okay, so let's get started with it. Today we are going to discuss about the screening round and aptitude round. In the next session we will be discussing what technical round and HR round. Okay, so let's get started with the screening round. Now what is a screening round? You can say screening round or you can say screening interview as well. Okay, so we can say that screening interview is typically the first step in the hiring process where recruiters or HR professionals evaluate a large pool of candidates to identify those who are best suited for the job. Now again, you can say that yes, we are doing this only from many days, like we are filtering the candidates, we're evaluating. Yes, this is basically screening interview is the screening we did in screening part in the fourth session. Okay, this is the same, but yes, there will be minute things which we are going to discuss over here. Okay, as we all know that its primary purpose is to narrow down the candidate pool and select individuals who meet the basic qualifications and requirements for the position. So they are often conducted over the phone, although they can also occur via video calls or in person. They can be telephonic, they can be video, they can be, yes, virtual, and they can be in person as well. But most common screening interviews are on the like we saw one resume or 2 resumes or 550 resumes, and we feel that yes, okay, 10-15 candidates, we must screen them by call. We must do cold calling. That is basically screening round, or you can say screening interview. Okay. So what are the key aspects of screening round? Now, basic qualifications. Recruiters use screening interviews to verify that candidates meet the essential qualifications for the job. What they would be asking? They would be asking you the questions regarding your education, years of experience, specific skills, and yes, candidates who are lacking these skills, these basic qualifications or skills are usually eliminated at this stage only. Okay, so this is really important. Now next is communication skills. What they do in screening interviews, recruiters evaluate candidates communication skills, like are they clear, are do they have professionalism, and do they have ability to articulate thoughts and experiences. Next is company fit. Are they aligned with the company's cultural values, mission? And this is done through questions about the candidates, yes, understanding of the company and why they want to work here. Like if they're calling and that candidate has randomly applied for 10-15 jobs a day, and when we are calling them, then they are saying, okay, you're calling from this company, this company is about, if candidate asking me about this thing, then yes, surely he has applied for several companies, and he's not aware about my company. Okay, so then yes, you can ask other several questions as well. This is a normal practice that candidates keep on applying for the jobs, and suddenly when they get a call from that company, they are even shocked that yes, they got a call. They take time to remember about the company and then they start answering the questions. Here we can take salary expectations from the candidates, like we can discuss about the salary expectations, what salary they are expecting, and other benefits during the screening interview, so that we can ensure that yes, candidates expectations are within the company's budget for the position. Fine. So yes, you might have came across several questions about salary expectations on the screening round on the first call itself. That is just because they want to know your near about expectation. Okay, next is availability and logistics. Yes, recruiters can confirm the candidate's availability for the job, including start date, work hours, and yes, willingness to relocate if applicable. Relocation is a big hurdle sometimes. And yes, of course, interest and enthusiasm. This is like we can assess the candidate's enthusiasm for the role, and are they interested in the company, or they have applied like that only. Candidates who demonstrate genuine interest in the position are more likely to move on to the next rounds. Otherwise, yes, they will just listen your conversation, they will listen your call, and they will never turn up for the next round. Okay, Now, how we can prepare for a screening interview? Now, see, from the point of view HR, from the recruiter's point of view, we have already discussed in the screening and recruitment. Now, here we are discussing with the point of view of candidate, like what candidate has to do, how candidate has to prepare for these interviews. Okay, so first of all, yes, research the company. I always focus on this, that whenever you apply for any company, please note it down in your notebook. If you have applied for 5 or 6 or 8 companies today, please note it down in your book, and at the end of the day you must research about the company, because when you have applied you can get call at any time from the company. Okay, so please do research, understand company's background and products, services, culture. Now this knowledge will definitely help you to demonstrate your genuine interest in the organization. As I already told about that, yes, genuine interest will be judged on the screening call itself. Yes, review your resume. You need to review your resume. Be prepared to discuss your work experience. You have to discuss about your work experience so that you sound genuine, and yes, that experience is genuine actually. The skills and yes, accomplishments mentioned in your resume. Sometimes it happens that you haven't reviewed your resume, or that resume is 2 years old back, and those things are not updated. And when the recruiter is having that resume, recruiter is discussing about your resume, you are saying, oh, this is not updated. So why this is not updated, or why you haven't seen that resume which is being uploaded? You have applied for the job and you have attached that resume with it. Okay, so be ready to provide specific examples of your achievements. That's really important. Next is prepare questions. Have a few thoughtful questions about the company and the role prepared. Now you can write these questions. It could be that yes, you got a call, and they would be calling you after 5, 10, or 15 minutes or half an hour, or an hour. Then you can check those questions. You can ask questions to demonstrate your interest in the position and company. If you have already noted, like you have applied for 5 companies and you have noted down about the company's background, cultural norms, what the company would be doing in future, and then questions attached to it. 2 3 questions you must have, that if company's call will be there, if somebody will be calling from the company, then yes, you can ask these questions. Okay, so next is practice. Yes, you need to practice common interview questions. You can do it in the front of mirror, and yes, focus on clear and concise responses. Like, tell me something about yourself, or something, what are your strengths, weaknesses, what do you know about our company, why should we hire you? These are common questions. I have done several sessions on this. You can find interview questions playlist in the comment section, or you can check my other channel, Ready to Get Update. That's in Hindi language. If you need any session from there, from the pinned comment, you can check the playlist and the sessions. If you need any session, you can tell me over here. I will definitely upload over here. And yes, I am going to start interview question series as well on this channel. So be here, okay? Yes, this is a critical stage because it determines whether you will progress to the next rounds of interview. It's essential to make a positive impression. Very essential, because this is the first call. And yes, you can say that first impression is the last impression. So you must demonstrate your qualification, express your genuine interest in the job and the company. So this is all about screening round, or you can say screening interview. Okay. Now next is aptitude round, or you can say aptitude test as well. So now what is aptitude test, or what is aptitude round? So aptitude test is a systematic means of testing a candidate's abilities to perform specific tasks and react to a range of different situations. Now what is this? Candidate's abilities to perform specific task, how candidate can perform a specific task, and how he can react to a range of different situations. Now, how we can assess this? Now, it measures innate or acquired ability in specific skills or knowledge areas. Now, these are used in the context of assessing candidates' suitability for a particular job to predict their performance in a specific role. And yes, of course, these tests can cover a wide variety of skills, including you can say numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, abstract reasoning, spatial reasoning, technical skills, and yes, language proficiency, and obviously anything which company wants to assess as per the profile and as per the company's requirement. Now, here are few common type of aptitude tests. These are few common. There can be any other test as well, and yes, aptitude test can have several sub rounds. Okay, since this is round 2 aptitude round, now this can be in different sub rounds. Means aptitude round can be a round where one round is for numerical reasoning, second is for verbal reasoning, then is for technical aptitude, abstract reasoning. Okay, so let's understand these common type of aptitude tests. First is numerical reasoning. Now these tests assess candidates ability to work with numbers, as we are talking about numerical numbers, interpret numerical data, and solve for mathematical problems. Now they often include tasks related to what, arithmetic you can say, or you can say percentages, ratios, and yes, data interpretation as well. Okay, now this test is very helpful to assess those candidates which we need to select for the positions where we require data analysis part, where we are looking for a candidate who should have good numerical reasoning. Okay, so next is verbal reasoning. Verbal reasoning test measures a candidate's ability to comprehend and analyze written information. Verbal is written information. Comprehend and analyze written information. So candidates are usually presented with passages of text and are asked questions to assess their understanding of the material. You might remember in our schooling time we have unseen passages. Okay, so that is, you can say, what we have to do in those unseen passages, we have to answer the questions related to that passages. So this is like that only, verbal reasoning. Next is abstract reasoning. Abstract reasoning test, also known as inductive reasoning, or we can say diagrammatic reasoning test, assess a candidate's ability to identify patterns, logical rules, and trends in abstract data. Okay, there are diagrammatic reasoning tests. Means there are certain patterns, there are certain diagrams, and you have to assess the things related to that diagram only. Next is a spatial reasoning. Now, spatial reasoning test measures a candidate's ability to mentally manipulate shapes and understand spatial relationships. Now, yes, these tests are common in fields such as engineering and architecture. Okay, because you have to understand these spatial relationships, you have to manipulate these shapes. Next is technical aptitude. Yes, here we can also have a technical aptitude test. Now this technical aptitude test assesses candidates knowledge and understanding of specific technical concepts or tools relevant to a particular job. Now you might be wondering that we have a specific round, that is technical round. Now why we are doing it over here? Why technical aptitude is here? This is necessary because few things we need to analyze at this stage only, and after that only we will be shortlisting this candidate for the next round. As we all know that after every round candidates are eliminated. So after each round, the candidates who are not fit as per that round, those candidates are eliminated, or they are kept aside, or they are shortlisted, or yes, they are moved to next round. Fine. So this is a normal practice. That's why we take technical aptitude over here, so that we are aware that yes, basic technical things are okay with this candidate. Next is language proficiency. Here language aptitude test evaluate candidates proficiency in a specific language. We can say grammar, yes, vocabulary, and yes, of course, reading comprehension skills as well. So we can say that yes, aptitude tests are designed to be objective and standardized. They are really important. This round is really important, ensuring that yes, these candidates are assessed using the same criteria. All the candidates are passed from the same criteria. So employers use the results of these tests along with other assessment methods, and yes, these tests are computer generated tests. So yes, normally in today's time these tests are computer generated, like you have to answer through a computer system. So evaluation is also easy, and all the candidates are assessed on the same criteria. So this is all with the aptitude round. We have discussed in this session about the rounds of interviews, how many rounds of interviews are there, and why we call them rounds of interview. And yes, so two rounds we have discussed, screening round and aptitude round. In the next session, we are going to discuss about the technical round in detail. What is technical round, how this technical round is being taken, and yes, then HR round. Okay. So be here in the next session, and I hope so this was helpful, and if it's helpful, please do let me know in the comment section. So till next video, all the very best. Stay happy, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.